I've heard of you before saying in your interviews that you microdose mushrooms. Being in Northern Californian, that seems very common in that kind of area. People microdose psilocybin and microdose LSD. I think you've done both. You also use the opiate kratom as well sometimes, I think, for mood enhancement, which is interesting. Can you tell our audience more about that?
Yeah, so starting with the mushrooms, my first mushroom experience was in Thailand, and it was a megadose. I mean, now I know the dosage is between 1 and 5 grams, maybe, and like a microdose, maybe I'm just throwing out a wild number, like 200 milligrams or something like that. But I probably took like 20 grams, 30 grams.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so it was a funny situation. It was not very organized, and I had what most people like call an ayahuasca experience, or some much more intense psychedelic experience than most people would ever get from mushrooms. And in fact, one of the other people that had used psychedelics before was like, "This isn't mushrooms. This is DMT. This is, but this isn't mushrooms, whatever this is." So it was some good mushrooms, and it was way too much. And that's what, I was with friends, and I was with someone guiding us. The problem is the guy guiding us, one of the guys did a lot of marijuana on top of it to amplify it. One of them kind of went crazy and went in the street and started yelling at cars. So the guy had to go manage him, which left us to ourselves to figure this thing out. And that's where it got crazy. So that was my first experience. After that, I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to do this again. This is like way beyond, like, I'm not ready to travel to other dimensions type thing. Like, let me just get my feet planted on planet Earth here a little bit more first. But then it definitely caused the ego death. And it caused me, the best example I can give is when I went to flip on a light switch, I wasn't sure. I couldn't be certain whether flipping that switch was actually going to turn the light on. I had to find out for myself. So it completely got rid of all of my judgments, what I think is going to happen and what I think about the world around me. And it blew my mind. And I did want to experience that. I wanted to then set that aside and experience that again more when I'm in the next chapter of my life. So use it as a transition. So when I'm done with one chapter, now it's time to psychedelic reset, to prepare myself for the next chapter in life, which I think is a great use for it, right? Completely opposite of what most people are using things recreationally for. Like, this is purely life enhancement, mind enhancement, nutrition.
Just annotate Tony's comment, a hero's dose. It's literally called a hero's dose of psilocybin mushrooms of the golden teacher is 5 grams or 4 grams. He's talking about taking 4 times more than that, which would cause a lot of people to become permanently schizophrenic, to be honest with you. So he really survived that, and that's an excellent.
Or maybe I am schizophrenic now.
No, I doubt that.
It's not the government and all that.
But do you ever microdose them for the benefit of cognition? Because I noticed that at a like a 1 to 200 to 300, depending on the mushroom. I like to use very rare strains of mushrooms that are land grown, very hard to get in the U.S., and they're more powerful than the golden teacher. And with those, sometimes you can just take 50 milligrams or 100.
Right. So the most powerful mushrooms, milligram per milligram, I experienced. I haven't experienced very many. Was the albino? No. B+. They're called B+. And they were picked at a very young age, which makes them very potent, so I'm told. And a very small amount of that goes a really long way. And it's a really good, it's a euphoric feeling, but it's a very focused feeling. And I tried using it under many different situations. Like, I used it before the gym. Bad idea. Doesn't help with the gym. Makes me like, it makes me feel connected to everything, and it makes me able to focus, but it also makes me hyper aware of my surroundings. Like, it's like at the gym, I want to be in output mode. I want my adrenaline high. I want to put energy out. I don't want to take any energy in. This is all about me putting energy out. And the mushrooms is like all about putting energy in. And so better to be at home, like studying. Okay, so a very low dosage of mushrooms, I find I can get very focused and deep into a topic without hitting any barriers. I don't hit walls. I just keep going deeper and deeper down a rabbit hole until I make an amazing discovery. Right? Great for, like, here's the amazing thing. Let's say if I want to invent something, I start with the creativity of using something like a marijuana to open my mind to all the possibilities. And then I use something like the mushrooms to now focus and go really deep into it.